Listen, don't fall asleep on that. Like honestly, listen,
have you also?
Come on.
All right. Welcome to Industry Giants Pod,
Yo.
where we'll discuss what's it like being a titan in the modeling industry. We'll talk visibility, tokenism, and actually being present and represented as a pillar in the zeitgeist of fashion and culture. I'm Thaddeus Coates. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm currently signed to IMG Models worldwide.
That was a nice intro, man.
Thanks.
Nice intro. Very nice. Yeah, I couldn't have did that. My name is Davon Woodard. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I'm with Wilhelmina, and I've been modeling for like 2 years now.
Mr. Ralph. Yeah. Mr. Ralph right here. What's up, everybody? I'm Big Mac. I'm with Milk Management. That's my mother agency. And in London. Also with NYC, with Wilhelmina in NYC. My apologies. And then State in LA. I don't even be knowing who I'm signed to sometimes, so sorry about that, fellas.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, I guess so. All right, I'm Oli G, from Brooklyn, New York. I'm signed with Wilhelmina. Been a model for like a good 5 years, 6 years actually. It's been a while.
Yeah, what's the other
I don't count COVID years though, so
COVID
years. Let's pull that back. 4 years. I've been modeling for 4 years.
Yeah, COVID years is tough, for sure. But yeah, we're here, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for.
We made it at the group chat.
Yeah. That's something we was just discussing. Usually when
we made it out the group chat.
Yeah, usually when you think of something, you create a group chat. Like he said, it usually stops right there, but we kept it going. We got on a FaceTime call. Yeah. We all just stayed committed to it. So,
Much respect to everybody, man.
Yeah.
Really.
Thank you, sir.
I had a question though to kick it off.
What's up?
Everybody has more experience than me.
What's up?
What got you guys into modeling? Like, what inspired you to like just get into it? And yeah, just go from there. Anybody can start.
Boom.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Take us away, sir.
All right, boom. So I started modeling in 2018 cusp. I started modeling because oh my gosh, y'all want my modeling, like my origin story.
You a villain or you a hero though?
A hero for sure. Also, villains are a lot more interesting.
I'm gonna be the villain then. Right?
Villains are a lot more interesting.
I'm gonna be the villain.
But basically, I was discovered via FIT. I was on the grounds of FIT. I went to FIT, and there was a professor who was on campus who knew that I was taking a lot of pictures with the photography students. My major at the time was advertising design. And so she was like, oh, I have a job for you. Can you come try on these jeans? And in my mind, I'm thinking, that's kind of sketchy. Yeah. But I've seen her around campus, and I know she's a professor, so I'll see what it's about. Turns out she was scouting for American Eagle. Wow. And I ended up booking American Eagle as my first job, and it was the first time that I think American Eagle did like a extended size male model campaign just in general.
That's what's up.
So I was one of my first featured thing before I got signed, and shortly after, I kind of ate that. Like in Times Square, and after that it kind of just took off from there.
Honestly, I'm gonna let you take that away because
you want me to answer my own question?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. For sure. Shoot, where do I start, man? I just had a family member that was into the modeling scene, and I remember as a kid just seeing my uncle signed with Wilhelmina as well. I remember just watching him just work, having fun with it, meeting people. Everybody was going to him, showing attention to him and all that. It was just a cool setting for me as a kid. And as I got older, his agent asked me to like just do a portfolio shoot. And they signed me the next day, and it just took off from there, man. So I got introduced from like a comfortable family setting. Yeah, Uncles Wilhelmina. We just actually did a shoot together. Just for get some digitals, and it was just a cool time to see him in this old man phase in the industry. Him sort of passing the torch over him or whatever. But yeah, that's how I got introduced with it. But my first client was EKNY. I was so nervous, man.
Why?
Because I could see people do their thing. But when I was in the seat, it was like, oh man, am I angled the right way? Am I looking away too much? Like, how do I position myself?
Just really in your head.
Yeah, how do I fit in the
Same,
clothes and all that type of stuff? And this shoot, they didn't have like a screen for me to see myself. This was so I was like, oh man. And I kept asking questions and everything, but I worked with them recently again, and they just reminded me how nervous I was. Yeah, man, that's my little spill, man.
When was that?
With my first shoot. My first shoot was about 2 years ago.
Oh, no, you shooting with Ralph Lauren.
Oh man.
Really iconic. Really iconic.
Yeah,
That's
man.
great, bro. That's great. Who's that? I'm gonna let you take this one.
Okay,
Yes,
let's
sir.
see. The story's kind of weird, but typical at the same time. So basically, I feel like it was around the time that they started really doing big and tall modeling for like ASOS and stuff, where people kind of really had an eye on it. Finally, I want to say it was like 2018, and my friends are always hitting me up like, yo, you always take good pics on your thing. Why don't you just like go to agent? I don't even know where to begin. I don't know what you're talking about. And lo and behold, my German agent, so my mother agent is German actually, Curve Models, and reach out and they were like, hey, can you take these kind of photos for us? Which at the time, I didn't know what they were, but she was like, can you take polars? I'm like, what the hell's a polar? It's digitals, but and I started taking the pictures and I sent them to her, like literally emailed back like, we want to sign you right now. We're gonna be your mother agent. Are you okay with that? I'm like, yeah, okay. So that's actually what got me started into modeling. From then on, it was like amazing. It was like a bunch of like European, like because my mother agent was European, like I was flying into Europe a lot.
That's cool.
A lot. Yeah, it was awesome.
Look, you know, I let him go before me because he's actually how I got into it.
Look.
Right here.
Really?
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yes. My mom actually told me about him. Do you want to, how that came about? I don't.
So I met Max's mom online, right?
Okay.
We both took like an ancestry test. This is insane. We took ancestry tests and it's like she was like my second cousin or something. So like it was like that's pretty close, you know, generalized.
Also, y'all family.
Right, we're family at this point. I didn't know we were family, obviously.
I just found this out like last time
Like,
when we
3-4 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, insane, right? We didn't know
I
we
didn't
were
even
related.
know.
But that's how shit works in Haiti.
Yeah. Yeah, Ali. My mom told me about him. I was in college at the time, playing football and all that, and my mom told me about Ali, and she showed me his Instagram, and I saw like he was doing the modeling thing, and I seen him on a plane every week. This is pre-pandemic.
This is pre-pandemic.
So this guy, like,
2018.
no joke, he on the plane every week, and I'm like, wow, like obviously that's dope. That's dope. And I don't know, for me, like, you know, I was heading into fashion and all that, but I had never really saw myself like being a model. You know, never really liked the camera for real. But you know, that definitely piqued my interest because I was trying to figure out what was next for me after college. And you know, I got with Ali. We talked a little bit, and then, you know, I started researching agencies that represented big and tall models, and kind of just went from there. Like I was just applying to any agency that took bigger guys, and I believe Curve got back to me, Milk got back to me, and Bridge did, and I just went with Milk. I didn't even know, honestly, I had no clue who Milk was. I didn't even know I applied to them. And then, you know, my
You just applying everybody.
yeah, my agent got back to me. I'm like, what is Milk? And so I look him up. I see they're in London, and I'm like, wow, this is really cool. So we eventually got on a call and just went from there. And,
Sure, man.
You know, it's beautiful. You know, modeling is the reason why I'm here today. So I'm just grateful I was able to get in the industry, meet some great people.
Yeah, man.
That's a fact.
Yeah, man.
That is a fact.
But yeah. So, you know, one thing, you know, we've been talking about, people don't know we're here, man, you know? And this is something we do you know, this is what we want to do, you know, for a living and all that. So, yeah, man, let's get into it, shall we?
We shall.
Yeah.
First of all, where do we begin?
Exactly. There's so,
I feel like first off, a good chunk of the world be like, you tell them you're a model, and obviously the first question is like, oh, okay, you're a model, and it's like, yeah, I don't feel. we often have to validate the fact that we actually are
We're so
models.
big, right?
Because it's insane though. It's incredible to me. Like, yo, look at the height, look at the
Especially what
size.
society knows a model to be.
Quick question though: do you think the average person that looks at like our size people, do you think they will look at us like as assuming we're athletes or something before they would ever think that we're a model?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, bro.
I get that all the time, man.
100%.
The other day I had this short Asian lady was like, "What team do you play for?" I was like,
I actually make a
I had to
team
walk
up
away.
every single time.
Yeah.
My favorite thing to do is cosplay as a team, a random player of a random team. And if you do it abroad, sometimes you get stuff for free.
yeah,
I'm so
man.
serious.
Yeah.
If I'm going to Tokyo, I'm going to be Shaq. I keep telling y'all. When I go to Tokyo, they're going to be like, Shaquille. Yep, that's me. Yeah, Big Shaq. I'm going to wear the jersey. I will have the Shaqs on. The vintage 1998 Shaq.
Listen, don't fall asleep on that. Like, honestly,
Have you also?
come on. Listen, me and my friends went to Italy, but like we're all pretty much above 6'2", 6'3". We're all like, and we was, in Italy, we stick out like a sore thumb, obviously, because we're a couple of black guys in Italy. And we get there, and then literally, there's a long line at this club, this area, and I think it's called Corso Como. I can't remember the name. And we get in there, and like, I guess one of the people who work for the club or whatever spots us on this long ass line. And he's like, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, come, you don't wait. And then literally escorted us all the way to the front of the line.
Very iconic.
Of course I'm a linebacker tonight.
Yeah.
It's okay. So there's some leverage that comes with being big and tall, obviously.
It's not a lot, but when it does happen, I will take full advantage.
Yeah.
But I do think it's a good, I don't know, I feel like it's a good starter for us to talk about in general. Like, what's that perception that you receive when you tell people that you're a model? And obviously positive and negative, right? Like, what would you think was your first kind of like introduction to talking to people about, hey, I do modeling and stuff? What kind of feedback did you get?
I feel like a lot of the times I navigate just the industry with this audacity that people think I have. I kind of wield that with the pride, because they will ask me, "Are you a model?" I'm like, "Yeah." So anyway, what are we having for lunch? Now we got past the fact that you don't think I belong here, and I'm here anyway. Now I'm already defined the odds. Next question.
Let's go. Exactly.
Next question. I just feel like a lot of me navigating the industry has been that. And I kind of take that on the chin, but also it kind of exposes their bias. So I just let them simmer in that, because also that's uncomfortable too. Have you ever been like, yeah, and just been quiet for like a good 2 minutes?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I stopped feeling the need to justify everything I do or just my profession in general. Once I booked American Eagle, that was the first thing I booked. I was getting mailed to people's houses. Oh my gosh, yep. And then everything that I do now is like, I celebrate every single little thing I get. It's one step, man on the moon for me personally, just because I think that in our industry, there is so much that we're doing every day that I feel like is defying the odds of our existence. And so I feel like we should actively be celebrating every single thing we do. If you book JCPenney, if you book Macy's, even if you book Walmart, I feel like just the fact that you're out there being visible in middle America, where people who are your size are probably like mowing lawns and not even thinking that that's something that they can fathom being
an opportunity.
Right.
Yeah.
I feel like we're inspiration for so many people, so I take that as a hero.
I love that.
So do you think when people ask that question, like, are you a model? Do you think they ask it in a way where they're already saying you shouldn't be? You get what I'm saying?
Never even give it a thought.
Never.
I'm like, because I look good, so. And also, I don't know, I'm an Aries, so a lot of the stuff be going to my head in a way like, oh, okay, you're yep. I mean, look at my face. Are you kidding me? Anyways, next question. What do you do?
Right.
What do you do?
Going into it, because I never saw myself necessarily just being that, I was just grateful to even just have the opportunity. So like, from the minute I got into it, I'm just like, wow, I'm really here, and I don't know, I just try to, because once I got there, I obviously when I chase my dream, like I'm thinking big, I'm thinking big. So when I got into it, I'm thinking all these things that I wanna do, and ASOS was actually my first gig, in London, and that's when I got into fashion. In high school and stuff like that, I was a lot bigger, so I was looking for other brands and things like that I felt like fit me. And I came across ASOS, and I'm like, wow, this is dope. And and I just remember like always just loving ASOS, and then that's who I ended up shooting with. That was my first gig. And when that happened for me, like I was like, whoa, like I felt like I already accomplished everything. And I, not knowing there's so much more, so much more to go, still so much more to do, and all that. And then once I doing that, I was like, wow, this is my big dream. Then once I got there, it just was like, for them, everyone around me, it's like that's the everyday life. So it's I'm taking this thing and I'm in London. I came from Virginia, and so like it just went so quick. I'm really unable to really take it in because it's ASOS like fast fashion, and like just the amount of outfits we were doing just went so quick, and then that's it. And
do you feel like question? Do you feel like the thought process of you being like, I should be just grateful to be here, do you think that has impacted how you view, I don't know, like your place in the industry?
Absolutely, bro. That's a great question, and I think that's something I've been trying to work on. You said. It definitely, because it really I stayed one way with it because like you said, I get a job and then I'm just grateful, and then whatever comes next, that's it. But and I was like thinking, just riding that wave. So yeah, it's definitely impacted a lot with how I feel myself and see myself in the industry. And I think it's kind of created some kind of like separation at the same time, because it's like, oh, I'm just here, I'm grateful, but that's really all it's been. I think also kind of being secluded a little bit, being in Virginia, and then going out and doing these things, and then just going right back home. I'm not able to like connect with other people in the industry from there and stuff like that. But yeah.
I'm gonna say yeah. I think what happened was that it's not necessarily that I didn't have confidence and stuff like that. I've always deemed myself to be very strong-minded and stuff like that. But because it was such an industry that I didn't see people like myself in, automatically stepping into that space, and especially in a time where there wasn't many, and we're still struggling for that visibility for me. So like I was stepping in there, and I'm in the rooms, and I'm in this thing, and it's like, in a sense, I should have been more audacious. I should have felt like I was present and I deserved, as opposed to like, okay, I should be happy whatever they give me, or in the sense of that, okay, I'm in this room and if they don't have a robe that fit me, I'm okay with that. That was early on, right? I think as you develop and you grow, you gain that confidence. You learn that, it's a profession. And I'm doing a job, and the requirements should be both ways, right? So I'm coming on time. I expect you to have a robe that fit. I expect you to have slippers that fit. I expect you to accommodate me the same way you accommodate other models who are not bigger size. So,
another question. Ooh, you go ahead answer. But I got another question that took me. Go ahead.
I thought it was my question.
Oh, all right, boom. So, do you feel like you have to move? Do you feel like you have to be the active advocate when you're booking a job because your agent isn't advocating for you, or your agency isn't advocating for you?
Yo, he's asking really.
Yeah, you asked me a question, man. And I'm gonna start. I'm just now privy to like how agents like I said, I'm still new to the industry as far as experiencing all these things. I'm just now understanding how agents represent different models. There's a different approach as far as how much they put you out there. And that's why I came to you before we started the show and said, how can I up my social media presence so I can advocate for myself and possibly find my own gigs and my own opportunities. But there definitely is a difference, man, because even I've seen a few agencies, they have like different events and stuff for probably just some of the female models versus the men. I see a clear difference between big and tall and main models, especially with the men, and how just the treatment is just different. As far as how they look for different jobs for different brands for specific models, I'm just now understanding and seeing what you guys were telling me as far as how big and tall models are treated differently.
Not to cut you off, but
Go ahead.
I was just going to add, for me, the experience, it kind of feels like it's not really about me, you know, like Maxime Evans, you know, it's just like you fit the description, you know, your body, but it's not, they're only seeing my body rather than I'm a human being. There's more to me than just that. Kind of just finding someone to, that's what it feels like a lot of times. Like, if it doesn't work out with him, we'll find someone else type thing. But if it does work out, even then, it still might not necessarily feel about me. It's just like I did book the job and all that, but even your agent, sometimes it might not even feel like it's for them. It's just a check at the end of the day. Like they're just trying to get the check. That's what it feel like.
I got a counter question for that. Do you think it's the agents that don't push big and tall models out, or is it the brands that don't really look for our size? And when I mean brands, I mean like big brands, Gucci. That name can go on for hours. Do you think it's more so the brands not looking for our size, or the agents not pushing it out, pushing for opportunities?
I think the way that it functions is this weird cycle of us utilizing the humility that the industry has kind of given big and tall models, because it then becomes our kryptonite. Because in one situation you're saying, I feel like I should be grateful to be here, but if I'm on set with 3 other models, not all of them are big and tall models, and I just am seeing how much their agent is showing up for them and how present their agent is for them. We're all booking the same job, but in turn, it just becomes this thing of, well, how is my representation talking to these brands where it seems like they want me to take some stuff on the chin, and or I just have to sit there and drink the pickle juice because that's what I was taught to do. But I don't know. I just feel like our physical presence is bigger. We should be treated as such. And that might seem audacious, and it might seem like I have no place to say it, but there are people who move through the world who don't fit straight sizes, who take up space. We literally take up space. That's the name of the game. So our space, the amount of area that we do take up should be actively accounted for, and they should be representing, and they should be actively speaking out for this. But I think it goes much more up than just the males in the extended size industry, because there's still like curve models and their agents who are like fighting for representation. I'm going to name drop. They might use a Precious Lee, or they might use a Palomo, or they might use a Christiana. But if Christiana is doing a collaboration with Miu Miu and they're only making the sample size for Christiana, then it's not really a true advocacy. It's not really a true brand and agency thing. It's like a faux. It's like what do you call it? When people do, it's a virtual signal. They're virtual signaling that they are inclusive without actually being inclusive. But if the agent puts the pressure, if the agency is putting the pressure on the push for inclusivity, then the brands have to buckle.
Now, what does that look like though for the agent to push for that? In your opinion, what does that look like?
I can only go off how I push myself, and if I'm knocking on every door, and the agency I'm with skipping steps and skipping cobblestones, then I don't think it's like. It's not evenly. I want them to fight for me. I'm fighting for myself constantly.
Gotcha.
If I'm on social media and I'm campaigning out, and if I can imagine myself in this brand, and I'm literally making content surrounded by how I could fit and be a part of this brand, and it's successful, then why is it far-fetched for me to believe that my agent can't put the thinking to the test just because they've been in the industry for like 10 years? They're used to accepting these jobs that are like middle America. No offense to middle America, like y'all. But like they're used to that. I just don't think we should be so used to accepting mediocrity when we're so much more than that. The bare minimum should be, we should accept more than the bare minimum.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on this?
I gotta eat that. That's a mere moment.
No, Thaddeus, you really brought up an incredible point, simply because I think it's a collaboration effort, obviously, from all of us, right? We're doing our part, obviously, to make sure that, you know, we're exposing ourselves, of course. But the middleman, believe it or not, is your agent. The middleman, they hold a very strong responsibility, right? And I think it's a good expectation to believe that they would at least put the battery in the back of the industry, right? Because one thing is, and I'm also thinking about this as an economic standpoint too, right? It's a business. if I'm an agent, I'm trying to make money. I'm booking, I'm getting commission. I'm trying to make money off of you. So it's not worth me having you sit down and not doing stuff. I'm trying to pimp you out. Like, at the same time,
trying to pimp you out.
Let's be real. For lack of a better word, I don't want people to do
We respect sex workers.
I don't think those words are allowed on some platforms. We're gonna distribute this content.
We actually
we gotta come up with code words, man.
We respect sex workers.
Right. Make your money how you make your money. Ain't nobody else gonna pay your bill.
The truth is.
Absolutely.
We respect everyone's hustle.
Absolutely.
It's a tough life we live out here, so you got to get it how you can.
And that's that. Simply put, like it's only so much like this. There's honestly so much networking that goes behind the doors that we're not aware of, or that we should be aware of actually. And it's a lot of those connections and making sure that, hey, not only do I have big and tall models, but look at them. They actually can work the image, the scene, the vibes that you're looking for. Because you got to remember, it's not only simply the brands as well too. Like, you got the casting agents and stuff like that. These are the people who kind of decide your fate. You feel me? So you gotta I feel like I don't like the word. I don't want a handout, right? I want to feel like I deserve it. I earned what I did, right? So I don't need someone to be like pushing me and go like, oh my God, look, please help him. No. What I want is for me in my professional space. Look at me. Look what I can deliver. Look at these shots. I can see him do this.
Absolutely.
And this is what they need to start doing in those rooms when we're not around. Yeah. I'm sure that a lot of them are doing it. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they're doing that big one.
Exactly.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to everybody who's doing that, because it's amazing. Because we've seen some great stuff come out recently, which is amazing.
But go ahead.
So I appreciate you. Fellas, real quick. You see how we came together? 4 of us are right here working on this podcast. What can we do as far as in real time to help the situation? Because we got together on our own, right? Yeah. So how can we because we're not the only 4 big and tall models in the industry. There's lots of us out there, and people really.
We are many.
There's a lot of us out there, and signed to some very respectable agencies as well.
Yeah, we got one right here.
I'm the only guy over here signing IMG. Everybody else Philomena. Like
osmosis is like just you that one IMG.
Somebody got to represent.
No, but just to answer your question, man. From my perspective, just being an example, and I'll say just all of us collectively. I'm sure we all have had examples where people reach out to us and ask how they can get into the industry and whatnot. Just like how I would ask you guys, like, how can I represent myself or find gigs or get my social media presence up or whatever, and just lead the fight as well, while being the example.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think that we could create a community that leverages everybody's visibility. If there's a database or a network that people know who we are. For example, the Grammys do a Best New Artist category where they showcase new artists of the time, so that way you know the new artists that are making music, that are making art at this moment. So if it's like a Billie Eilish, if it's like an Ice Spice, if it's like an Olivia Rodrigo, these are newer artists. But we also have seasoned artists. We also have like a Beyonce showing up. We have a Jay-Z. We have a Kendrick Lamar showing up at the Grammys. These are artists who are seasoned artists. But this is a form that's used to showcase the newer talent to all generations, because the Grammys have been around for generations. Right. So if there's a system in place that kind of showcases all the big and tall talent, or there's a database or something that we can maybe even create,
that's dope.
It will give a bigger scale of how large we are. Because the last time I've seen editorial done with all big and tall models was probably 2018, 2019. And there are so much more models who are in the industry now, and there are models who are just making their name for themselves when it first started. You feel me? That we still need to be in. They ain't put me on a list yet. Like, hello, wake up.
So you talking about agency, basically?
No.
Or just like a data.
No.
I mean, as much work as
an archive
we've done. Exactly.
An archive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because our work just gets posted and then that's it.
Kind of like drowns, right?
Yeah.
Because let's be real. Like, we collectively, we've done a lot of stuff. We've done a lot of work and stuff like that. But I'm probably sure, like, I'm not hyping up the podcast, because we kind of, I mean, y'all gonna watch, but like, I feel like most people probably gonna start discovering who we are generally and be like, okay, there's actual big and tall models. Oh, they're doing this and that. Like, I really don't see like where big and tall models are even celebrated. You know, and I mean that in the sense that you look on the agency pages generally on IG, you may see one post about the big and tall if they do something, or you may see something, but like and I'm just keeping it a buck. It has nothing to do with I'm not trying to start anything, obviously, but what I'm saying is that if we honestly are gonna be talk about inclusivity in the sense of that, like we out here, we making you money, we're working and stuff like that too. I feel like it's a part of actually celebrating the stuff that we do as well too. Like and that's one of the things that's absolutely lacking.
Right.
I agree.
And that's something I had wanted to chat with you guys about, how like he just piggybacking off of that. For example, IMG got what? $1+ million, you know, and you're doing things. You're signed with IMG. I'm asking agencies this question: why is it so difficult for them to just post your work? You know,
I've been posted on IMG models actually. They also
but it's only
they can post more actually.
Yeah. So like, why is it so hard for them to post their big and tall?
Generally, of course.
Yeah. I think that in general, it's this thing where you have to create this galaxy. You have to be the star in this galaxy, and then everything. This is my thing that is annoying to me. This is my thing that's annoying to me. For if you walked Gucci tomorrow, and it was like you were the only person of your kind who walked Gucci tomorrow, 9 times out of 10, everybody will be going on your Instagram like, who's this model who walked Gucci, who's this model who walked Gucci, and then all of a sudden your value goes up. So then all of a sudden Paper Magazine is calling, all of a sudden W Magazine is calling. They want to know who the big and tall model was who walked, because you're the new person. My thing is, it's not so hard. It shouldn't be so hard to create buzz. I was going to use spectacle for lack of a better word. I feel like we're tasked with this really hard task to create a sensation around ourselves while also being a sensation in an industry where we're already being sensationalized. You know, it's like I'm already an outer layer being big and tall in the industry, and I already am an anomaly, and I would expect that to do the work for itself. But in addition to that, we have to backflip, juggle, spit fire, and maybe do a split in a well-tailored suit. There's like a lot of stuff that we have to do, but also once you do, it's not far-fetched to believe that the brands will work with you, because if the brands will work with you once they see how valuable you can prove yourself to be. That's why social media works as a vacuum for all of that. So even if you hate social media, if you use social media and leverage a lot of it, you could literally create your own solar system, and then everybody would have to be drawn to you because you're the sun. That was a lot, but
you came full circle.
The message.
DeGrasse Tyson.
Yeah, the message.
The message, man.
Yeah.
Hey, look, that was so great. You know, you just got. I'm just processing that and letting the audience take.
But I got a quick question though, just to piggyback off of. I think Max asked a question. Do you guys notice a lot of big and tall models for like campaigns for certain brands? For example.
What, Devon, for the audience, what is a campaign?
What's a campaign? It may be like a seasonal shoot that a brand may put together where they have a few models, where they'll have like a seasonal spring shoot, but they'll have a campaign shoot with like 4 girls, 4 guys, or whatever, maybe indoors, outdoors, and it's just a bigger shoot setting, and most models get paid more with campaign shoots. It's a big deal.
The bag is big.
It's not the stuff you see online when you go look for some pants on
the campaign. That's the big bucks.
Yeah. And my question is, I haven't noticed any big and tall models. Do you correlate that same representation that the brands go for as IMG not posting as much big and tall models on their page? You get what I'm saying?
I think it's bigger than, in this specific instance, I think that it's bigger than our respective industries. I think the industry itself is moving away from diversity. And we're seeing a drastic departure against them getting models who look bigger just because of the rise of things like Ozempic and like other weight loss, like supplements and like medication. Now there's a way for people to lose weight. So them putting us up as poster children for like the opposite of the industry they want, it's kind of hard for them to meet in the middle, because the agency is actively pushing us. They could be actively pushing us, but if there's a dip right now where people are trying to like lose weight in a mass exodus. We're seeing that Kelly Osbourne is taking Ozempic and she's speaking out about, yeah, I'll take it. You're just mad that you don't have it. And now she's like dropped drastic weight in pop culture, and the zeitgeist of pop culture, that is now going to be deemed the standard of this. And also, that's the solution to this thing that people view as a plague or like an audacious thing to exist as. So when your existence is actively being moved away from, like there's a mass departure of your existence, what do you do? That's powerful. When there's a mass exodus away from everything that makes you as an individual, what do you do? Do you just remain yourself or do you conform?
I agree with you saying. So you're saying most of these brands, specifically for the campaign shoots, are going towards what's popularized today?
Unless you are maybe a celebrity who can create that kind of buzz against it. I'm pretty sure if they wanted Winston Duke and like a Tommy Hilfiger campaign, they'll put him in a Tommy Hilfiger. They're going to get him.
Yeah. We're not there yet, but we getting.
And they're going to create that. They're going to create.
All of a sudden, the clothes will materialize too. Clothes that they don't have will literally materialize.
That's a major point right there. Because like, to be honest, it's you're never going to see like a big and tall model actually get the gig to do certain jobs, right? But if they want a specific celebrity, and I've seen it all the time. I've seen it all the time. If they want a specific celebrity, they will make the clothes. They will make it to make sure that he can do it. So it's like, at the end of the day, I get it, right? Because it's a business, right? And I want to like sensationalize my business. I want to make sure I get the reach and celebrity. Obviously, the endorsement that their face is showing is going to get me a lot, right? But also, you also want to realize that most of your bucks come from the general populace. You're making money off of people like us who are sitting here. So if it's not necessarily, I'm not begging you to include me in the sense of that, oh my God, why don't you have someone who looks like me? But more so like, if you are selling clothes to people like me, why not have me or someone who look like me in them? Yeah. And that's just the battle that we, I think we tend to like take on, but we also take on silent battles at the same time too. Those battles often can't be as loud. We have to be tactful. We have to be careful what we say when we say.
What are some of those silent battles?
How we say it.
Very true.
The truth is, it's like any job you're in, right? You're not going to step on your boss's toe. You're not going to do certain things, right? And I think the same goes for this industry, right? You don't want to be blacklisted. You don't want to be a problem, or you don't want to be what the word I'm looking for is like a
liability.
You don't want to be a liability for your agent. You don't want to be a liability for the brand. There's a lot behind the fact that we're models and we're big and tall, whatever. There's a lot that goes into how we represent ourselves as well too. It's honestly a lifestyle, believe it or not. You play so much of a role on how these brands engage and make money. You have to be mindful of that too. So at the same time, some of the battles end up being silent. And,
were you silenced or were you silent?
Were you silenced? Or were you silent? A lot of the time people are silenced. And I think it just comes with the area. It comes with the area, unfortunately. And also, I'm not here to make a sad song about the situation, right? Because what's real is real. Yeah. You're being realistic, and you just want to be honest about it too. Because I feel like a lot of people look up to models like us who don't see themselves and who like, okay, I can do it as well too. Right. And then they don't understand that it's a lot of no's that come with it. It's not it's a lot of no's. It's a lot of emails that you're like disappointed. It's a lot of just like
castings. We want you. Never mind.
Yes.
Ooh, first whole release. Yeah. The word release will be the.
You know what's crazy though? I had one of my first castings was for Savage 20, and I remember seeing your page and I seen you do some work with them.
Did my big one.
And that brought like some trauma back when I saw that because I was on hold for like 2 weeks, and then out of nowhere they were like, "Nah, we don't want you." And that was my first time experiencing that with any brand. So I was like, man, what? Is this how this is?
Same here, bro.
Ain't nobody like, I hear no voice. I just got an email. Like, yeah.
And the worst thing is when you don't hear nothing at all. You gotta hit your agent up like, hey, so mind you, the shoot is in 2 days. You ain't hear nothing been confirmed, but you like, okay, hey, let's check in on that. Yeah, it's been released.
Did you hear something back from Yada Yada?
Yeah. Right.
And you have to be so like careful about it too.
Yeah.
Like,
also, this is the thing. When Issa Rae said she don't talk about nothing, because she's afraid that she's gonna jinx it. Whenever I get, a casting, that is pending, I don't speak about it until I'm on the plane.
Yeah.
You will know I booked it when I'm in a hotel room in another place.
Yeah.
That's when you know I'll book it. That's why I speak on it.
That's what I started doing. I say too for me now, because I used to be there where you're doing castings or you've got an option, and I'm like, that's all I'm thinking about now. And then it could be a whole month before the job, and it could be a really great job, and you're just thinking about that. And that used to mentally destroy me. So now I'm just like, hey,
if it come my way, come my way.
Yeah, and then the day of, like, I won't even reach out anymore. I know I didn't get the job when the day comes that I was supposed to shoot. That means I didn't get the job, and I go on about my life. So I just try to take it a day at a time now. If it's for me, it's for me. If not,
How did you process that though? Like obviously in the beginning, I'm sure for all of us that was like a difficult pill to swallow.
You know what? Like the same brand I was telling about, Savage Fenty, I was so hyped about it. I was telling my uncle, like, yeah, he ain't never worked with us. You never worked with Rihanna. And then 2 weeks later, they told me, like, nah, they went a different direction. But I had somebody, though, that has experience in the industry. He was telling me, yeah, man, it happened. So it was easy for me to swallow. But if I didn't have that person to talk to that understood, the deflection or the decline or whatever you want to label it, just a straight up no, it was easy to swallow and accept. But for most models, even if they're not big and tall, I think they still deal with that mental issue, man.
I would say, sorry.
And I don't think it's something that models talk with each other like, yeah, man. I think it's an embarrassment thing for them to try and relate to other models. They don't really share that type of stuff. So they just internalize that themselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
One of the silent battles we were just talking about. That's
there we go.
I think for me, with processing that a little bit, I realized that job I could have possibly got that I didn't get, that went to another big and tall model. So I started, some of it was perspective for me. That means another one in our community was able to do that job, and because at the end of the
That's
day,
really mature, by the way.
Oh, I appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, it would have took me like a month after they actually shot the thing like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean, I've been there sometimes where I've been like, oh, all right, well, I guess your vision is the vision that matters.
You're the art director.
I said, maybe I could have, something different, but.
It might be saving me from some, but.
Do you think it impacts your self-esteem?
Yes and no. Like, at one point, me personally, it did, but I just started learning, like, I'm already here. I know how many people try to just to be signed with an agency. Like, that's hard in itself, extremely hard. So these days it doesn't impact my self-esteem.
But in the beginning, you think it did?
Oh, for sure, bro.
Yeah.
For sure. Silent battles, lots of silent battles.
Bro.
Look, we know.
I used to be like, man, I look how I think I look in the mirror.
I think me personally, I am just doing 5,000 things all the time. So that is a part of the main zeitgeist of things that I'm doing, but I really try not to focus on it. If I do get it, then I get it. If I don't get it, I'm probably working on something else. That's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So I have such a chipper and optimistic outlook, and it's just because I just really feel like when you lean into the things that actually work for you, you're going to do. And if you want to shoot for a brand, you will end up shooting for the brand.
Right.
I remember, oh my gosh, this is probably a really personal story, but I'm going to say it, I guess. I don't know. I originally booked Savage, but I booked Savage for the show the first time.
Mm-hmm.
But because there was a conflict of interest on what I was doing right now versus my availability, which I feel like could have been worked out, but the agency that I was with, which was not IMG, it was the previous agency that I was with at the time, kind of dropped the ball, and I was like, wow, that is really crazy that you dropped the ball like that. But I also was booked doing something else that I could have done.
Yeah.
And another, I could have been on the computer doing my thing while I was also prepping for that.
For the actual show she does.
Yeah, for the first ever show. Because the creative director of me and the old creative director of Savage Fenty, she really had a soft spot for me, and I was really just like, whoa, she really seen me. So there's people out there who are looking for us, we're their favorite person. And that's how I think about it all the time. People who aren't in New York, people who are in LA, people who are in Miami, who you're their favorite and they're just waiting for the right time to be able to pitch you on the board, or they have you on the board already and they're waiting for the right collection to put you in.
Gotcha.
But to know that I could have been like one of the pioneers of that, I was like, ooh, y'all kind of dropped the ball.
Yeah.
And I am mad at y'all, but I'm not
Was
mad.
that
'cause I
part of
got
your
the
reason
check.
for leaving?
Yeah.
Who said I left? Oh, I did leave. I left. But you know, the crazy thing is, I stayed with them for probably like a year and a half after that.
Okay.
But that definitely was something that
That was
impacted-
strike one.
Yeah, it was probably strike 2 or 3.
Oh, okay.
But it was something that definitely impacted my decision on whether or not I wanted to be represented by them anymore,
You knew
which is
your
very
worth.
mature.
Yeah.
Put yourself first.
You knew your worth.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, man.
It's funny because I was also booked and held for that very first one. It was 2020, if I'm not mistaken, August of 2020, and it started off with a DM from the whole whatever. I don't know if they were the creative directors or the artistic directors, and it was insane. It was like so fast paced. I was excited, obviously. And they hit up my age. I gave them my agency details and stuff. I was sure everything was in the bag, everything was cool. And then at last minute, just you don't hear. And I was on hold forever.
Was it
Last
the same
minute,
agency?
Yeah. And I'm like, who dropped the ball, or like exactly what happened? And obviously, it's in the middle of the pandemic. So like, thank God I was like, not thank God. But like, I would say this: in August 2020, I was working very busy in the hospital at the same time. So like. I almost.
Oh, that was kind of morbid.
It is morbid, but at the same time, I did time to like grieve that in a sense, right? It wasn't like a bother at the same time, you know.
No way that happened with the same agency.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I just want to add, side note, this guy had worked in the NBA bubble as well. He was.
They
He
my
was.
friend.
Stories for days, man.
Yeah.
You're an
I just
NBA
had
player?
to-
I'm not an NBA player, but
Anymore?
I was in the bubble.
So,
I was in the bubble in 2020.
and I bring that up.
What do you mean? What does that mean?
He got all the
But
perks
I wanna-
basically in the bubble.
What does this mean?
I didn't mean to that up because I want to make a point. Because I forget exactly what we were talking about with modeling and self-esteem, but I wanted to say that, I also know at the end of the day, I love this shit at the end of the day. The modeling, the traveling, the fashion industry, but I know at the end of the day, I'm more than just a model, and we are more than just models at that. And as much as I want this, I know there's so much more to me, than just the look.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if I don't, get something, it's okay,
Right.
It's gonna come.
I think it's really important to self-fortify yourself and build a foundation where that you know that your self-worth is based off more than if you get approved for a job or not.
Absolutely.
It's really important.
And I'll see, like, looking at, because you're big on the socials, right?
I'll do my big one.
You got
Follow me.
100+K, and I'll see, like,
Do my
you're
thing.
really you're really your biggest advocate, and like you said, you
You gotta
just
do
shed and all
You
that.
gotta do it.
It's great to see how you just keep, no matter what, like
You-
you keep this thing.
You gotta do it. And
It's
you know what?
admirable.
You really, cream rises to the top.
Right.
You feel me? So if you constantly, you keep building that foundation, you grow. And I feel like I've grown so much since first entering the industry, and me finding my voice in the work that I do now has been so indicative of my journey in a way, and how sometimes I don't ever think that I felt the need to kind of take things on the chin in a way, but I also, not with brands, but like with my past agency, I really feel like I advocate for myself very much, and I also always show for myself, and I'm never afraid to hold my tongue. I don't know why it took me so long to actually be like, hey, this isn't what I want, and this is not where I want to go with this. I had to make a mature decision, but I also don't know why it took me so long.
Right,
But also, I was just being nice, I guess, too nice, because also I have other things going on outside of that, so it was hard for me to really to really fault them, because if that was my bread and butter, it would have been easier for me to know that all I got is bread and butter on the table, if that was on my bread and butter. But because I already had a spread, I was eating green beans, pork and beans. We are industry giants. I will be talking about food and fetaphors, by the way. I already had banana pudding, and I had potato pie in the oven. So for me, I was already focused on eating a meal. I didn't realize that the bread and butter was running still. And so in my mind, I'm thinking, wow, maybe I should order in a new agency so I make sure I'm going to be where I'm going to be, where I'm supposed to be. Feel me? Yeah. So I just, put up a seat to another table. I will say that.
And that's crazy because I've been signed since 2020 now, May 2020, and we're in 2024 now. I just started learning. It is very. Man, COVID. Like I said, I feel like I graduated college in 2020, and those 2 years, I don't even.
Thank God, it's crazy.
Sorry, the trauma hit me. My apologies. But I was gonna say though, like I just started learning how to advocate for me, speak up for me, you know. And you could do those things without like being mean. You could go about things in a certain way, and still get everything you need. Still, you know. So yeah, I feel it. Yeah, man. I feel it. Guys, while we're here, let's talk about our first time meeting each other in person.
Cool. You want to start that?
The last time we talked about it, I think Oli had the best take on it.
The first time we met, we was in underwear with one sock on.
This is the first time we met.
That's to give everybody context. It was at a casting,
right? To clarify, that's the three of us right
that's
here.
That's the clip right there.
That's how
Yeah, that's how we met, man.
Legit.
And the crazy thing is, I think the most craziest thing about that experience is we didn't even know each other, and we were all signed to the same agency.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We didn't even know each other.
Great point, brother.
That's another thing.
Great point.
That was the major part of the conversation, right?
Yeah.
We met with one sock on, and we didn't know each other. We basically hadn't meet each other ever, and we've been signed to the same agency, and it was like. It started a conversation like we were excited to meet each other, to talk to each other and fellowship. And at the same time, the conversation pretty much went to like, man, that's kind of sad that it took us to kind of like finally fellowship in that way, right? To talk with each other. And I'm like, that's what's missing in this whole thing. It's almost like a lack of like a brotherhood or amongst us. And I think
and that connection, man, that just true connection.
And then between that, like after the casting, of course, we had clothes, obviously. We were outside and we spoke for like an hour and a half outside, just like
and the
freely going and talking about sincerely, like man,
we just got into
incredible.
Yeah,
like
man.
that we're talking with each other, meeting each other, and we're able to exchange situations. And it was freezing cold, remember? And we didn't care. It was just sheer excitement of finding someone you can relate to.
There's like a certain level of, we don't have to explain certain things.
Yes.
Without ego.
And this was just like 5 weeks ago, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most crazy thing about that whole experience as well. And now we're here.
But listen, but the best part is like it was the three of us, and we were just like we need a fourth. Like we know we need a fourth. Mm-hmm. And Max is like, I got the fourth.
Yep.
That's exactly
and
what
the fourth happened to be someone who I considered a friend already, which is amazing.
And it's because that the reason why I thought of Thaddeus because him and I got together. I had a shoot in New York and we were able to get together and we were having serious conversations at dinner. Mm-hmm. And I just remember what we were speaking about the day of the casting, and then we made the group chat, was talking some more. I'm like, man, this is what Thaddeus and I was talking about.
I'm a thinker. I've been thinking about stuff.
Yeah.
Just to circle back around to us experiencing not getting gigs, none of us got picked for that.
Naked, underwear, and one sock, and none of us booked it.
Did they shoot it already?
I don't know if they did. I think it was
think so.
scheduled for like sometime in March. I think like later March, but no, they didn't shoot it.
Mm.
But like from our experience, we already like, yes, we didn't get that.
Shall we say who that client was? Is that okay?
I mean, why not?
Yeah,
who was it for?
It was Bombas.
Bombas.
So for me,
cool
like,
crew. They had a
really. I actually shot with Bombas back in 2021. So and that was really, really good. And so I saw the producer I had worked with, so I felt good about it. Like just
you was like,
you came in like I got this in the bag.
Why y'all even here?
And that's why look exactly. And so
exactly.
me 2 years ago, boy, that would have folded me, dog.
Yeah.
But I knew like I didn't think I had it in the bag. But him and I was talking. He's like, man, I don't. They were asking us questions. He's like, I don't even have to ask you questions. You look great. Like he's saying all this. He knew who I was.
Dang,
that was the first time I
misled
said
you.
something like that.
He said, you got it.
No, it won't like that. It won't like that. It won't like that. But the way it was, and I didn't get the job, and like I wasn't necessarily feeling some type of way, but I definitely thought I was going to get that for sure. But
That's crazy.
I had a quick question. Did anybody tell you like what was going to take place in the casting? I think that's another thing though that a lot of models deal with. Like, you're not informed on what's going to take place. Like, for example, we went in that like big studio setup, and we just see naked women and men walking around.
It was insane.
one song.
Did you look at it? Did they send it on the cliff notes in the email?
No. It's like you walk through these double doors
No.
and you walk in, you see flashes, just like a wall separating like the studio setup.
Man,
and it's an
I
area
felt
where you can
like-
dress up and you just see people just naked walking around. Of course they got the underground
And then how
stuff,
you have
but it's
to, you have to like, there was no order really, in my opinion.
yeah.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
felt like real Squid Game-ish.
Yeah.
That's the
That was a
best
big
way.
cast.
I don't think
Big
they
multiple days.
Yeah.
Massive.
I like big castings like that because if I book it, I feel like, wow, you really
Out of everybody.
really mess with me. Okay. I'll be back is what you're saying.
pretty much. I'm saying like,
I
boom.
like that too. It's a good feeling.
man.
It
Great
is.
feeling.
That was like my first TV commercial in the UK. Like, it was a last minute. It was like, can you just go to this casting? And I was honestly supposed to be on a train to France to shoot with the brand in France. And I think that I got refundable. I was like, all right, let me just book another thing and delay it so I can see if I can just cast it. And I went, and like literally, I went there and they weren't giving me any word. I'm messaging like, hey, I need to get on my train, but I would love to know if I book this, because that would, change how I plan my trip when I leave from France. Do I go straight home or do I come back to the UK? Like, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. And, I went on faith, right? So like I after rebooking the train, I let it go. But it ended up working in my favor because like later on that evening, I booked both. The crazy thing is because I missed that train, that was one of the last trains to leave from London to Paris. Mm-hmm. I had to get on a 9-hour Flixbus from London to Paris, bro.
Yeah.
Do you understand what that feels like to be sitting upright and sleeping and like going through customs and stuff, and then go right in because your call time's at 8 a.m., 8:30? Insane.
You ain't oversleep?
I mean, you kind of get a little bit of sleep in between while you're in the bus, obviously, right? You're sitting down, like, mind you, the worst conditions, like, it's crazy.
I've been on the Flixbus. I know how to get down.
I
know how to get down.
But you gotta
your backpack right here.
It's a lot of hustling that goes
That's very
on with
scary,
this
actually. Abroad? A Flixbus abroad is nuts. I've been on a Flixbus in D.C., like in New York. Well, that's like in the States. So I'm like, all right, cool. I think we kind of crazy here, too, I guess. When you think about it, we crazier, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. But it's like, you do everything for the hustle, right? You do everything because of that chance, right? Mm-hmm. And sometimes you take leap of faith and it work out for you. And that's the thing that we're here to try to, like, in this podcast, I don't want to name the podcast anymore because I feel like at this point you're going to know who we are. With this podcast, I feel like it's necessary for us to like really have an open space and talk and let everybody know. Like, this is a lot of the stuff that we're actually going through on our day to day. It's not simple like stand up and take pictures, bro. Standing up and taking pictures is exhausting, by the way. People don't talk about that.
Yeah.
It's not as glamorous as you think. It is exhausting.
Especially if you got lights just beaming at you, man. Like from multiple different directions.
Not the light.
Plus the flash. I'm like, you start twitching a little bit.
My favorite thing is when they do the back, so you can just close your eyes.
Yeah.
When they do the back, they be like, okay, let's do the back now. I'll be like,
You're like, angle your back this way. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
That's where they lose me. When I gotta turn around, I'm gone.
We all have
Look, I get mad when they ask you to look back and you go,
I hate to look back. Look back and smile, okay?
yeah, you had to ask for it and you
Give me a
labeled
little
it
smile. Give me a little smile.
It's so funny that we all freaking like experience the same exact thing. It's insane. I love that. Honestly, like when I turn around, my eyes roll behind my head. Like it's on some like.
Yeah, especially if you're there for like 2 hours. Even 2 hours, I'll be like, dang, y'all
Y'all didn't even feed me.
Also, because we be 9 times out of 10, we already arrive ready. Most of the time, well, sometimes, not most of the time. Oh my gosh, and this is situational. I'm not naming no names, but sometimes everything isn't ready for you, or you're ready for it. That's all I'm feel me. You gotta sit there and take a beat.
That's a lot of people that try to get into the industry. They don't understand. Like back to what you were saying about how we all got to know from that casting. it's a lot of no's and it's a lot of like, okay, you got to sit and wait. Like your time was to show up for 8 a.m., but we really not gonna start till 10, 11. And in the back of your head, you're like, man, I got some work to do. You gonna take 3 hours away from me?
I could also got here a little later.
Yeah, I could have got an extra hour of sleep or something like that, man. But that's what people don't know, and they try to get in this industry. It's like, listen,
Boy, I mean, even for me,
that's it.
y'all know I do a lot of work in New York. I'm based in Northern Virginia, so like, you talk about a leap of faith. I'm taking leaps of faith just for casting.
Just for casting, that's
you
so
know,
true.
and
Yeah, that's
That's
nuts.
so true.
I'm driving 4 hours just for the casting, but it's definitely I've taken that jump, and I'd say it's paid off. You know, I met Thaddeus in Amsterdam, and I remember that casting. That was with Tommy Hilfiger, and I remember getting that like, hey, Tommy, you know, they want to see you, and I'm like, okay, let me go do that. They don't know what my life is like right now. My car is like, but I'm gonna get there though.
Yeah.
You know, I'm gonna get there.
But you know,
and I got there, and I got that job. So like, but for me, sometimes it might be that like I'm banking on that right now. So I'm gonna go take that.
But do you think from the outside, do you think people that see you being able to travel to places like Amsterdam and get gigs left and right, do you think they just focus on that instead of like
Absolutely, bro.
the sacrifices that you do make?
Yeah, I think a lot of people, like for me specifically, they don't understand like my
The whole
behind the
picture.
scenes. Yeah, the whole picture.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, brother. If you're ready, if they're
wanna
ready
jump
to
in
wake
this.
up at 3-4 in the morning, you got to go make that drive to NYC, and there's a possibility you're not even gonna get that job, and then I got to drive. I drive right back to VA after that.
Through traffic.
Yeah, that's what it be. So
Round of applause to Max.
thank you, brother.
Man,
Appreciate it.
especially how the gas prices look
That-
today.
Yeah, boy,
Man.
but like, it'll be so worth it when I get that confirmation for the job. All that I just went through, it don't even, it paid off. It paid off.
The Tommy Hilfiger was a worldwide casting for it was like a agency-wide casting for IMG. So I rolled in there. I was like, all right, cool. But I was big dog. Like I was like, all right, cool. We all in this thing, mind you. Like this is my first like agency-wide casting. I think I did with Tommy Hilfiger with IMG. So I'm all right, bet. I put it on. I was like, all right, cool. I put it on. Yeah. They booked me. I said, ooh, I was walking down the street. It's crazy. Honestly, it's just crazy because I was in the city. I was walking down the street, and it's so interesting how like people who are in the industry view how things could be so minuscule, so small, especially if they're used to booking like, I don't know, like a Hong Kong or like a Berlin or something like that's extravagant. They was like, yeah, you got the job. You want to go? I mean, you could go if you want to, but you don't got to go. I was like, whoa, y'all giving me options. Wow, y'all really like Princess Diana. I'm going to go. Let's go. I said, I booked it. That's crazy. I ain't going to lie. I booked it, and it was some power players in the room. What that mean about me? I'm a power player. Yeah.
Talk that.
Yeah,
Talk that.
y'all know what's up.
Yeah.
Talk that.
It's on the website right now, TommyHilfiger.com. You
Check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, you on the website.
Yeah.
Also, if y'all want to book me for the campaign,
Sure.
look at this. I already looked at the Tommy campaign.
Yeah, man. No, that was good though.
Yeah, man.
But just being able to travel and all that, you know, it's a lot of good comes with it. But you know, it's a hustle. It's a hustle, man. And people don't know. We hustling every day for this. Every
Side
day.
note: the food at the PVH headquarters.
Gas.
Take notes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Wait, okay.
When I did Calvin
Oh,
over there, I was like, oh, this is because it's Calvin right here and then it's Tommy on the other side, which we did the same
So you
day.
did
That would've been dope.
Calvin.
I did Calvin.
I feel like I did know that.
Yeah, this was 3-4 years back though.
Calvin.
And I'm like, yo,
Calvin.
this
Calvin
cafeteria is
Klein.
elite.
Calvin.
This is some good food.
I also have some questions I asked to my channel that we can answer to if y'all want.
I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Go
For
ahead.
sure.
I love that.
But no, that food, boy. I don't know.
food.
He acting like it was not. You go out the building.
I
They got
never
the
seen
Hell's
that.
Kitchen. It was called right.
Hell's Kitchen. The kitchen?
Hell's Kitchen. It's Hell's Kitchen.
It said Hell's Kitchen on the
Oh, they're a big one. The food was great. It was lovely. Y'all want me to talk about food on the Industry Giants podcast? Obviously, I'm gonna do it. Y'all know the food was good. Like it was great. Okay, is that what you
There you
want to
go,
hear?
there you go.
Honestly, you know what was so much more refreshing over there? A lovely sparkling grapefruit drink. That was amazing. The food was also good. The
it
food
was
was nice.
good.
Look, I was just happy to be there. I was just happy.
You deserve to be
Even
there.
the apple,
You
like
deserve to be there.
look,
That's a good one.
I had an apple, man. I'm like, wow, this apple is amazing. Like, I'm eating the apple, best apple ever. Like,
Yeah, man.
you know,
We
But,
keep name dropping these locations. We're gonna have to do a show out there.
for sure.
We
We
should.
should.
Yeah.
Let's go. I go get a beat.
We just drop a couch right on the beach and just the background is water, right?
But also multitasking too. I was like in Amsterdam doing work. So I work in advertising. I'm like an advertising designer. So I was doing work in Amsterdam, but I had two. So I was like sleep, but I was doing work. I had deliverables to get to a brand. But also like I had to wake up to get to set on time. It was just a lot. I mean, I killed it. Obviously, I'm gonna get the job done.
Was you working on U.S. time?
Yeah, we're gonna U.S. time.
Oh.
Also, I forgot this is a very specific story. I forgot my the Mac laptops have like the adapter, and I was in Amsterdam. I didn't have it, so like I was working on like a 17% laptop for like 20 minutes trying to.
Crunch work.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, man.
So about these questions.
Jump on the questions.
jump on.
Let's
All right,
go.
boom, one-
Let me for these questions.
This chair is comfortable. I ain't gonna lie, man.
Right? I'm
Yeah.
not. Chairs is good.
I was looking. I'm like, I don't think that's a hold.
They felt a little small for the Giants. You feel me? But they're good.
We have a question from Javo Jordan. They ask, "What methods do you use when you feel uninspired, blocked, / tapped out?"
We gonna.
May I get that one more time and I'll answer?
What methods do you use when you feel uninspired, blocked, or tapped out?
I'd say for me, I definitely just remember the vision. Remember this is temporary. Take things a day at a time and just continue to work on, just control what you could control at the end of the day. And you may someone in the industry, your family, things like that. Have a realistic conversation with yourself. If the passion is there, just when you passion is there, you got your feet in the mud, you just sink through even deeper, and you just keep going. You just keep going. If you're passionate about it, that's kind of one of the things I do. But
I'll go. I kid you not. It's gonna sound like funny, but I try and put myself in like a childlike mind, because
That's how I was going.
yeah, because
going.
my parents just had another baby, right? And she's 2 years old now. I love her to death, but I can see creative she is, or how she just processes things. And lately, anytime I'm just like in a down place, or I'm unmotivated, I try and get into a childlike mind frame so I can open up that creativity somehow, some way. It may be by watching cartoons with my little sister, or playing with her, something like that, and like taking the pressure off of myself. You know what I'm saying? That was recently a method of mine.
it's lovely.
To be honest, like, you guys know I'm very much a travel therapy kind of guy.
Okay.
So I love to.
You just book a trip.
Yeah.
It helps a lot.
No, that'll do it for sure,
Yeah.
man. That'll do it.
Yeah.
Name us one place though that's helped you with
That
that.
feels inspiring to you whenever you go.
One place that feels inspiring. I love Sweden.
Sweden.
I love. Oh my gosh, Sweden. Sweden is just one of those countries that are like, the way I look at it, like, is Sweden's one of those countries that basically you find so much to do. There's so much nature walks. There's so many like archipelagos, because it's a chain of islands as well too. You can boat through those things. You can discover so many things. There's so much historical context that goes on there. There are also people that just didn't really involve with the world a lot, so they're very homogenous, right? It's a bunch of blonde hair, blue-eyed people in there. So it's just like,
scary.
when you go there, you stick out like a solid thumb, of course, right? But it's like a super welcoming culture. I feel like you can sit down and rewind for a moment and just soak in, like, I'm alive, I'm breathing. The streets are clean. It's just like such a decency. The
air is
different.
The air, breathing that in. I love
The
that.
the Scandies in general are incredible, right? Like Denmark and obviously those other countries. But like for me, Sweden, that's my place.
I think it's really important to remember that we do this because we enjoy doing it, and I think whenever we lose the enjoyment, it becomes less fun, and so a lot of like applying the childlike viewpoint is really inspiring for me, just because I love creating, and so even when I'm not getting like booked, I'm still thinking about doing shoots and like test shoots that are just inspiring to me personally, that can help me grow as a model. Maybe I'm practicing posing, maybe I'm practicing movement just in general, because I also feel like a big perception of like big and tall models or extended size models is that we don't know how to move fluidly through movement. I'm a dancer. You want to battle?
Look, first time
I really think if you give me a dance battle.
Hey, Daddy.
We gotta get it.
I can
going
break
there.
dance.
Listen,
Low key.
I don't know if I could break dance.
The first time I met him in person, Paris, man, and this
We were
guy
going
was
off in the club.
Yeah,
we were
was
wilding
going-
out.
was going crazy
This guy
in the
missed the
club.
flight the next,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
same morning.
I remember that
first of all.
story.
But nah, he get though. He get it.
But that gets
But yeah.
because we see you.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I was
I
like,
see
bro,
some of your moves, man.
that is.
Yeah.
I be watching the stories. I'm like,
Yeah.
damn, that
You never know when somebody's looking at your story like, wow, we needed to shoot him for something.
Yes,
I'm investing a lot of stuff. Y'all just gotta be.
Can I ask a question? It might kind of be off topic, but I know you're a big Beyonce fan, right? Is that something you'd love to be like a background dancer?
For whoever, I think it'd be really cool. A really notable artist I would love to dance.
Is that
with.
ever something like you think of? You like?
I think more so I think about how people could utilize my movement in campaigns. Like I'm constantly thinking about how it would look if I was on a Nike campaign again. If I was in like a Calvin Klein campaign, if they want to or even like a Target like main campaign, which I've done before. I think it's really important for me to see myself in that and see how I would fit into that. And because everybody loves dance and movement, it just makes people happy to see people move. You just never know what you could be doing.
Has anybody like reached out to you for art directing for like shoots and anything like that?
Art directing for a shoot? Not yet.
Is that something you would dive into?
I think I would be really good because I'm a creative director by like nature. I do work in advertising design, so I think I can do a lot, honestly.
Cool.
But yeah, keep it fun.
Well, fellas, I think we're nearing our time. So, last thing here, I wanna ask, what are we looking to get from this? This is episode 1.
Wait, boom, no, do it.
Advice.
Do what do that. Let that be like a that way we can use that to like.
Yes.
I'm a little
Delayed? It's okay.
yeah.
Okay, so the closing out question should be something like, if you could have any advice to give to somebody who wants to enter the industry and do what you do, what would you give to that person?
Okay.
Let me go on that. I would say understanding your look first. For me, even though I got my cap on, I'm the bald guy. I'm a little fit, tall, and that's my lane inside big and tall. Understand what your look is, and that may be different for main models, for males. It just, if you got long hair and you got tattoos, there are agencies that go for that look, and that should be your guide as far as where you should be going to as far as agency, casting directors or whatever. Just understanding what your look is and who wants to represent your look. I think that's a good start.
Max, do you have any advice?
Yeah, for sure. Some advice. The question, right? That's the question.
Absolutely.
Definitely what Davon said, because I would say going in, I didn't have a look. I didn't know what that looked like for me. So I would say since I've been in it, I've been trying to figure that out for myself. But I would just say, like, just be yourself, like really know who you are. Don't compare yourself, because you want to be, and that's easier said than done, of course, but there's so many people trying to do what we do and what we want to do, and it takes being like, you have to be able to stand out, and you have to be one of one as far as, what you are, and you just don't try to like take somebody else's swag and things like that. Just try to be you. If you follow your heart, you're gonna become that unique thing, that one of one. So I'd just say try to do that, man. Don't really focus on what other people are doing. Definitely take advice, admire for sure, but remember your vision, what you're trying to do.
So one of my biggest advice I can give to anybody who's interested in entering this industry is the self-confidence that you have. You may, it's beautiful, right? And you want to, build thick skin. Build thick skin. And obviously that comes with experience, that comes with time, that does come with some, some cuts as well too, but it's going to help you in the long run. Understand that don't take anything personal as well too. Try to just like understand that it is an industry and nothing's personally wrong with you. You're talented, you're amazing. Just, always walk with that light and confidence that you are belonging wherever you go. I think that's one of the best things that I can tell my younger self, and I would tell other people who want to get into the industry.
I would tell anybody who wants to enter into the industry to be your biggest fan first, almost like what you were saying, and also fortify a foundation that's so strong in your self-worth that you're worthy of the space that you occupy, whether or not you book the job. And that you are important, and that you matter, and what you offer to this industry does matter. And even if you're not booking all the time, or if you're not booking the big ones, what you are doing is significant because you are outlier, you are an anomaly. So your existence is resistance. I'm a thinker. You want to take it home with another question, or?
Well, I did answer that. No, I was just going to say, because you guys had brought up when you guys were having the Brits convo, I was thinking how I've got 2 months to find a new agency, actually. So, there is that.
Is that because you
go ahead and talk to the people?
Want to go to the agency?
Right, talk about it.
Yeah.
Tell the people where they can find your work, man.
Yeah.
All of us, right? I was going to say on that, though, I don't even know, I didn't renew my contract with Milk, so I decided to opt out of that because that's another thing. If you want to get into the industry, that's something I didn't know. You need to have a blueprint with it, because although Milk is an amazing agency, one of the best, if not the best in London, them being my mother agency and me being based in the U.S. in Virginia hasn't really worked in my favor. So I'm looking to have a mother agency here in the U.S. now. But that's definitely something that's going to be interesting for me. I'm just been riding the wave, but that's definitely something I have to get on. And yeah, I'm looking to make some changes. Simply. But do you have more questions? You got it.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do another question.
Oh, you want to do another question?
Yeah, let's do one more.
I don't know if I should really get into that.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah, that is.
When we start diving into the contracts and rates and
exactly
agency cut and all that.
Exactly.
I don't think we should talk about it, but I'm just saying it could be an episode, right?
For sure.
To be continued.
Another question I do have is, when did you finally realize your calling or path? Deeper than
right?
That's deep.
May I ask, is this within?
I explained to the chat. I was like, boom, I'm answering these questions for the podcast. I told them what the podcast is about. So these are the questions they gave me. They asked, how do I get started? How do I get into the industry? We already answered those questions.
Yeah.
What are your biggest words of advice that have impacted your career? That's a good one. What are the biggest words of advice that you've received that have impacted your career?
That is a really good one, actually.
Take it away, Max.
That's such a great question. I gotta think about that one a little bit. If maybe you could even take that, Thaddeus, if you want, because you saw the questions.
I feel like the biggest. Well, you know what? The craziest thing. The first time I booked American Eagle, I met this amazing casting agent. Her name is Lauren, and she told me, "There's room for you." And I love her so much. I thank her every single time I get a chance. We still are mutuals on Instagram, and she's a big reason why I even thought that I could seek representation in the agency, because she made me feel so seen in that moment. I was like, I had these jeans on, and I hated trying on jeans at the time. I actually hated going into fitting rooms. It was just like a whole spill about how it was just annoying to do. And so she's on Zoom or like this video call with like the board of people at American Eagle, and she's like, "There's room for you," in front of the people, in front of the big dogs. And I was like, "Whoa, I knew that already, but I'm glad y'all caught up." But that really just reaffirmed me in ways that have impacted my career ever since then. So wherever I go, I do know there's room for me. There's room for me back then. There will always be room for me infinitely because of that. And that's how I carry myself, and that's why I walk with such purpose, because I know that there's room for me.
Wow.
Shout out to you, Lauren. I love you so much.
She
did her big one. She moved to Germany, actually.
What part of Germany?
I don't even know.
Cologne.
Bro,
We gotta go.
I'm telling you, Germany is the
She
spot.
like makes like bread from scratch. She's amazing. She has like 2 kids.
That's the
Love
beautiful
her.
place. Beautiful.
I guess for me, You know, when I got into it, I started in London actually when I got into the industry. So I spent 3 months out there. It's a pandemic, you know, so I just took that leap of faith again. And I don't know, I'd say just being in London really just helped me, like, meeting people, telling them why I'm here. So you're just hearing, again, not really knowing much about the industry and all that, but as you know, the accommodation I stayed with, it was a family. They had 3 boys, and you know, it was a parent, and they became like family for me. And the mom, her name was Natasha. Shout out Natasha, man. That's my British mom. She just was like, bro, she was just my biggest supporter. This woman didn't even really know me, and she was there from day one, essentially. And she would, cause I guess they find, like, for the accommodations, they work with the agency. So we just, as I'm going on the journey, we'd be talking and things like that. And she was just always had great words, and like, she would just say what she could vision for me and see me doing. And I was just like, wow, what is she seeing? And yeah, she was just very supportive. I mean, so many people were, and I guess I'll say, because I think you brought up a shoot, American Eagle. I was doing a shoot with, they're called New Look in London, and I remember the photographer, I forget his name. Like, you know, this is probably still one of my first shoots ever. And again, I hate being in front of the camera. That's why it's crazy I'm here. But he was like, I think towards the end of the shoot, he's just like, this stuck with me. He's like, Max, I can see you going really far. And I just remember being like, wow, what is he seeing that's making him say that? So that's definitely just those simple words right there. You know, they resonated with me, and they stuck with me. I forget his name, but shout out that guy. That did a lot for me for sure.
One of the things that really was instrumental for me was, it was one of the hair and makeup artists when we went on the shoot. And one of the first shoots I was doing, I'm sitting down, kind of nervous, blah, blah, and then she, you know, she's an older lady, and she's like, babes, like, you're here, so what's wrong? I'm babes, like, I know, you know, it's in the UK, yeah, babes. I'm like, you know, like, everything was awesome. I was really excited to be here. And, you know, in my mind, I'm just like, you know, like, everything's awesome. I'm really soaking everything in. But sometimes you get that imposter kind of like sensation. And I think she was just like, babes, they're ready for you. And it's almost as if, like, you're here, you got something to do, right? And it shook me up, like, I'm here. I got something to do. Yeah. And it's like, from that moment on, her energy and how she said that to me literally let me know, like, yes, when I'm someplace, I'm there, and I got something to do. And there's a reason why I'm in that room, right? So, like, she really, I don't even know if she was meaning to be inspirational, but for me in that moment, it was the push I needed. She's like, go do what you gotta do, literally.
You stuck the days like, that's dope. Man, all my inspiration comes from my parents, man. They once told me when I graduated college, man, whatever vision you have, you're the only one that can make it happen. No one's gonna do the work for you. You gotta grind, whatever that is, whatever you do. No one has your vision, so they can't see what you trying to do with your life. And that's always stuck with me, man. It's always stuck with me. And
good words.
Yeah.
Good
yeah,
words.
man. Vision. Vision. Mom and dad, man.
They're so right. They're so right.
Vision. I say that to myself every day. Vision. That's my spiel.
Awesome.
Fellas, it's been good.
Yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, it's been nice. To even
thank you so much for tuning in.
If you listen this far, we fuck with you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you made it this far, you were real. We appreciate you. For real.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.